listening to Jet Bets, the gambling podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Jet Bets, the gambling podcast. I'm Brian Stein, joined as always by Charlie and JB. We had an okay week last week. I had a meh week. I went 6-9. The boys went 7-8, respectively. We are not smarter than our girlfriends, or Charlie's girlfriend at least. She went 8-7. She beat us all. That her fantastic knowledge we didn't even know it.
Who knew that saying that they're not a real team was a valid way to bet on games?
Yes.
So her two teams that she said were not real teams were the Rams. So the Rams she said were not a real team. Or sorry, the Niners were not a real team, and she got that pick wrong. And then what was the other one that wasn't a real team?
I think she said the Texans.
Yeah, she did say the Texans.
Oh, I still have my notes app. I can tell you right now.
And the Texans. I think it was the Texans, and the Texans did not cover either. So she knows what she's talking about, fake teams. But this week we will continue on. Let's just do a quick summary here. My lock and JB lock hit. Charlie's back on the L train with his locks. Sweeps, man. Sweeps are hot. 51%. We went 4-2 this week on our sweeps. I went 3-1 on my parlay on my best bets. JB went 3-1. Charlie came back to earth 1-3.
Giants won and screwed us both, right?
Yes, Giants screwed us both, I believe.
Damn Giants.
Gosh darn gins. Yeah, I'm up to 30% on my best bets. JB's almost to 32, and Charlie's still over 50%. So even with a bad week, you had such a commanding lead, we may never catch you.
We'll see.
We have a light slate. That's the word I'm looking for. Light slate this week.
I don't feel great about this, but those are really like the weeks I feel like I do the best. It's just like I don't know what's going on. It's like, oh,
yeah, there's less noise. You get to tune out the noise, as it were. So, we got bye weeks for the Browns, the Cowboys, the Broncos, the Giants, the Steelers, and the 49ers.
That many?
That many. It's
we're getting there.
Yeah, this is probably the heaviest of the week. But let's not focus on the teams that aren't playing. Let's talk about the guys we can actually win some fucking money on. Thursday night, ready for another barn burner of a game. The Texans are plus 14 against the Eagles. The total here is 45.5. This started at around 13, and the total was around 43. And so the spread widened, and the total went up just to keep an eye on those. The Philadelphia Eagles are 3-1-1 against the spread when they're favored by double digits. So usually pretty good at covering when they've got 10 points in the hole. 10 or more in the hole. I think this is an easy Eagles pick, right? This Texans team is terrible.
Home dogs. There's got to be a stat out there. 2 touchdown home dogs.
Yeah, that could be.
That's a lot of points for a home dog.
The Texans are so bad, though.
They are. They were good for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Remember the beginning of the year, we were like,
We
look at the Texans.
We were some money with the Texans.
They were covering. They weren't a good team. They were just covering. There's a difference there.
Are they frisky enough to cover 2 touchdowns against the Eagles, who are absolutely rolling?
So this is not the way to really look at it, but my brain goes, the Eagles beat the Steelers by, 20-plus points?
Yes.
The Steelers would beat the Texans by at least 10 points. Therefore, by the transitive property, the Eagles should win by 30.
There's something there.
There is.
There's something there.
I don't know what, but there's something. So are you officially taking 14 points?
I don't know. Go to JB first.
JB.
I'm picking 14 points. I want the Eagles.
Oh, I thought you said I'm taking the 14 points.
I didn't mean to say it like that.
I was like, wait, we just talked about taking a big FanDuel bet, parlaying the minus 14.
Well, we did do that. I want all the points. I want 17 points for the Eagles. I don't care. beating the absolute piss out of them this week.
Absolute piss out of them. You heard it here. Don't take the dog. I don't want a Thursday sweep. We know those don't work for us.
Does that mean you're taking Philly?
I am taking Philly. Philly minus 14 is my pick.
I'll take the over.
Oh,
45.5.
The under was actually on my radar.
I think the Eagles can put up 40 points by themselves.
Okay.
If
That's
the
fair.
Texans can just get 2 field goals.
Yeah.
Not even a touchdown.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
2 field goals.
Really lowering the bar.
Yeah. So I'll take the over.
Okay. 2 Eagles and the over. No Lunder games this week. Nothing crazy. Just a good old 1 o'clock slate. The Patriots are at home. They are 5.5-point favorites against the Indianapolis Colts. The total here is 39.5. I wanted to find a fun stat for this because 10 years ago this would have been an amazing matchup of Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning, and now it's Sam Ehlinger versus Bailey Zappi, even though I know it's Mac Jones, but I want to pretend it's Bailey Zappi. The over is 8-2 when the Colts play at Gillette.
That's a weird stat.
It's very specific. I'm taking the over. I think 39.5 is too low. I think that neither of these defenses are terribly great, and even though the Colts just fired their offensive coordinator, I think that the Patriots are probably going to cover, but I think that there will be over 39.5 points scored in this game.
That is exactly why I want the Patriots. I think Belichick is going to thwart whoever new guy they have calling plays.
Yeah, I don't even know who's calling the plays anymore.
I personally don't care.
I didn't know who the old guy was.
I didn't either. That's true. That's a good point.
Their organization is burning from the inside out.
It might be.
So
it really might be.
I'm not worried about it. I'm not afraid of anyone on their offense. Jonathan Taylor has had like the most disappointing year maybe ever in the history of football.
Yeah.
And he might be out this week.
Yeah, he missed practice this week with an ankle injury.
Yeah, so I'm going to go with the Patriots, too.
Don't think about it.
Yeah. So back-to-back games here. Two favorites and 1 over. I don't know how I feel about this spread. The Jets are plus 12.5 at home dog, against the Bills. 46.5 is the total. The spread did shrink here. When I first put the sheet up on yesterday, this was at 13. 13.5 maybe, actually. So it's gone down. The Jets were double-digit dogs against Buffalo both meetings last year. They failed to cover both times. JB thinks the Jets are overrated, even though they are technically in a playoff spot if the season ended today.
Well, they're a little bit more overrated now that they lost Breece Hall.
That's true, too.
I would say. I was liking what the Jets are doing, but now I think this team has lost basically a leg without Breece Hall for the rest of the season.
Is that an ACL joke? Because that's in poor taste.
It is not.
I don't think the missing Breece Hall is that big a deal in comparison to losing their left tackle. That's much more significant.
Ooh.
James Robinson is 90% of what Breece Hall is.
I wouldn't go that high, but he is a serviceable
You
replacement.
forget what James Robinson did last year, 2 years ago?
Yeah, but he's not Breece Hall.
We're going to crown Breece Hall after 7 good games in the NFL?
I was ready to.
Yeah, I was kind of ready to, too.
Yeah, because you put money on him to win Offensive Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Got him.
Got him.
Got him.
I'm taking the Jets.
Ooh, really?
I am taking the Jets.
Wow.
Here's my rationale. The Bills scare me.
Yeah.
They are so good. They could put up 50 points on anybody and shut you out for the entire first half. But if you watched even the Steeler game, when they beat the piss out of us and we only scored 3 points the whole game, we moved the ball a lot better on them in the second half than we did the first half.
Okay. So you're saying second half under.
Yes. The Packers game. The Packers played better than the Bills did the last 2 quarters of that game.
Yes, that's correct. I would agree
I'm
with that.
afraid they're going to get a lead, get complacent. They have a running game, but they don't use it. Like they just choose to not run the ball, milk the clock, squeeze you out, and just let the blood drain.
They do. You're right. That's a very good point.
They're still throwing the ball with when they're up 40.
Yeah.
Stopping the clock. Josh Allen's running with his head down, goofing off.
Yeah.
I don't think this team is mentally ready to win games like this by this many points. They're going to win. But
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can't put teams away.
Okay.
Similar to the Chiefs 2 years ago.
Ooh,
Chiefs always won close games, remember?
Yep, I do remember that.
Mahomes was a little cocky. Now he's smart.
Yeah.
Take care of the ball.
Growing up a little bit.
Comparison.
That was a good one. JB.
I'm going to go with the over here.
Ooh, over 46.5.
Yeah, that's 46.5 is like a pretty low number for the Bills. It might be the lowest total that the Bills have had all season, besides maybe playing the Steelers. I think the Jets can score. I think Zach Wilson will sling it at some point and find Garrett Wilson. So I'm going to go with the over in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills. I think Aaron Rodgers barely managed to cover 10.5 points on Monday night. Was that Monday night or Sunday night? In the primetime game. Zach Wilson has not been it. He's really struggled so far. He's going to have to throw a ton to keep up. I think this is going to be pick city. I think that the Bills are going to just handily dominate this Jets team, who is getting better. I am impressed with the strides they have taken, but you're playing with the big boys here this week, and you're still pretty much still on JV. So I'm going to take the Bills minus 12.5 and feel pretty good about it. Almost L-worded it.
Wow.
Almost. Not quite, but almost. Thought about it, but didn't. Definitely not going to L-word this one. The Bears are home dogs again, +5 against the Dolphins. The total here is 45.5. The spread has widened since this first started. This started at 4, I think, and then it went to 4.5, and now it's 5. And then the spread was at 43.5. Now it's at 45.5. So total's rising, spread is widening. Chicago's not doing great at home. 3-6-1 against the spread in their last 10 home games. Dolphins now have newly acquired Bradley Chubb. We expect him to probably start immediately because I think it's pretty easy to plug and play at end. Go get quarterback, go sack, do big tackle. Yep. I'm taking the Dolphins. As exciting as I'm excited to see Chase Claypool. I don't know how involved he's going to be in the Bears. So these are two big trade teams this week too. But I think the Dolphins here are going to pump the brakes a little bit on the Bears. The Bears have had a couple good weeks, moving in the right direction. I think they're going to come back to earth this week, and the Dolphins are going to handily win.
The spread's too low, I think. There's not enough points. Like, I would like the Bears at, like, +8.5. Something like that, but 5's not enough. I want the Dolphins.
I'm sweeping here.
Oh, we sweeping, huh?
I want the Bears to be good.
I actually really like the over in this game, too. 45.5 is pretty low.
The Bears put up a ton of points last week.
Yeah, Bears last 2 weeks they've been putting up a ton of points.
Yeah, and against Denver, Dallas defense is actually pretty good.
Yeah, Dallas put up 29 against Dallas, put 33 on the Patriots, 7 on the Commanders. We don't got to talk about that. 22 on the Vikings the week before that. They're scoring points, so
yeah, finally. This
might be a little just put them both together. What do you have?
Yeah, there was a big real change like last couple of weeks after that 7-point showing with the Commanders. Like, I don't know if the light has switched or what, but they have been lighting it up. Justin Fields has a newfound confidence, which is always fun to see in a young quarterback. Lions +3.5 against the Packers. This was 3, so it's we got the hook out. I have no idea what to do this game. My fun fact here is that Green Bay covered last week by the skin of their teeth against Buffalo. That was the first time they covered a spread since September. October was not a good month for them.
Ooh.
Yeah, gross. I'm going to let JB go first here.
Oh, why do I have to go first with this one?
I can take it from you if you want me to. Lay it up.
I'm just going to go for the under.
49.5.
This game seems gross. Lions just lost one of their weapons, and TJ Hawkinson. I don't trust the Packers to score points. I'm going to go for the under.
I don't hate that. What do you got?
I want the Packers.
Ooh.
Hawkinson's going to be a huge loss. I think that's going to really... You're going to see how much they have to change up their offense now that no one has to worry about the middle of the field. Like, Hawkinson will burn you if you leave him open. And now that he's not there, it changes the whole way that they're going to play defense. Other teams are going to play defense, I should say. I still might be just, like, biased in the last, like, 20 years, but, like, Packers own the Lions. Like, that's daddy. Like, there's no way.
Yeah, basically, Aaron Rodgers is great in basically all division games and just iffy against the Vikings.
He hates losing. We know that Aaron Rodgers does.
Shocker. Yeah.
Getting beat on prime time in that fashion probably wasn't the best for him. You could see he's starting to build a little more trust with his young receivers. I hope Christian Watson is okay.
Concussion. Yeah,
is he back or no?
I don't know if he's going to be back yet. I think
Okay,
he's in the
well,
protocol.
Dobbs is a beast. That kid, Torrey, whatever.
Samori Torre.
Caught a nice touchdown.
That was
yeah.
cool. Where's he from?
Rutgers.
Yes, Rutgers.
Oh.
Rutgers? No.
Nebraska. I knew it was-
yeah.
Yeah, I knew it was a red
It
one.
was a red Big Ten school.
You were
We
thinking
so
of
close.
Bo Melton is who you were thinking of.
Ah.
But yeah, I'll take Daddy Aaron in 3.5 going to Detroit.
I'm going to take the hook here. I'm taking the Lions plus 3.5.
Ooh, we're all over the place this one.
Yeah, I'm betting on the hook here. That's never fucked me before. Definitely not.
Never.
I just it's at home. If this was the same exact line in Lambeau I would take the Packers. But Lions plus 3.5 at home. I think this is. I think you're right. I'm worried a little bit about Aaron Rodgers being like, "Fuck this! I'm trying to come back. I'm trying to get this right." But I think he might be a little distraught because they didn't get him any help at the deadline, and they were rumored to go after Chase Claypool. They got outbid by the Bears. I don't know what to do. I'm gonna take the Lions and the points here because I think that the Packers might be done.
Should be a good game.
Put a stick in them. Cut when they're done. Put a stake in them. I don't know.
Put it in your sock.
Okay,
Put a sock in it.
Put a sock in it. They're done.
That's not the right one.
I don't know what you know. What I'm trying to say. Put a stake in it.
Put a pin in it.
When it's done. Like I don't know.
Stick a fork in it.
Put a sock in it. Stick a fork in it. Is that what it is?
We're so off the rails here.
Anyways, the Commanders are also plus 3.5 against the Vikings at home. The total here is 42.5. Washington is on a little bit of a streak here. 3-game win streak, straight up and against the spread. They're trending in the right direction here.
I want the Vikings and I want to lock it up.
Damn you! Are you kidding me?
Lock it up.
I put on Monday.
Lock it up.
I put on Monday in our group chat. It's like, give me a reason not to bet the Vikings right now.
Is the reason because it went to 3.5? Because I'm pretty sure I got it at 3.
I got it at 3. You foul motherfucker.
Better lock it up.
That's what you get for not giving me D-Hop and saying you have to consult Brian, then taking Brian's fucking
He had a better offer.
You cocksucker. Saboteur.
You were the saboteur. You saboteur?
There's no saboteur. He offered me the trade.
Oh, you did.
I
Oh, now
technically
hold
offered
on.
you both the trades.
He offered me the trade, and he goes, "Let me go bother Brian about this. I'll be right back." And then I text you to tell him to do it, and you go, "Well, he's giving him to me."
He gave me more.
I hope you're happy with Alec fucking Pierce. He'll be out of the league before his fucking contract's up.
I like Alec Pierce.
my We're having fun. Vikings locking it up. You know, double locks statistically are undefeated on this podcast.
We're not doing double locks. We're not doing double locks here. I'll think of another one.
Okay.
But I'm picking the Vikings. Of course I'm picking the Vikings because this should be upwards of a touchdown.
Yeah, we're going to talk about it, but I think we all have to have the Vikings in our top 5, right?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned to find out.
For after the ad, then we get paid.
Yes. I'm also taking the Vikings here. We sweep this up. This is just, I don't understand. Taylor Heineke, Kirk Cousins. This line didn't even, I thought it was going to go to like 4 once the Hawkinson trade went through, but
Kirk Cousins' revenge game.
no, yeah, Kirk Cousins' revenge game. That's right. Yeah, he's very, very at home in DC in FedEx Field. Yeah, this is a no-brainer. I don't know. I can't believe this is one of those lines where you're scared that like, what does Vegas know that we don't?
Right.
But I honestly cannot think of any real reason why the Vikings do not cover this spread and cover it handedly. Bengals coming off a tough loss to the Browns. Before we jump into this game, I want to pause and talk about that. How has Joe Burrow never beaten the Browns? Did you see that stat?
Yeah.
How is that? How has he never beaten the fucking Browns? That's usually the other way around, where the Browns have not beaten somebody. I don't understand. You went to a Super Bowl, and you have never beaten the Browns.
Kryptonite. Lamar never beat Big Ben.
That's true. That's actually, yeah, that's a good point. Maybe there's a little something to be had here in the AFC North waters. But they are 7.5 point favorites at home against the Panthers. The total here is 43.5. The total has dropped.
42.5.
It's dropped even more. I think it was at 44 when I first
Still
saw this.
dropping.
Lower. 42.5. Panthers are kind of streaking. They've covered their last 2 games since firing Matt Rule. beat the Buccaneers, and I forget who they beat the week before that. But
The Falcons. They lost to the Falcons.
But they covered.
A thriller.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was so nuts.
Thriller.
That was the best game all week.
Who?
Like literally, the worst two teams played the best football game by far.
Yeah, the DJ Moore thing was insane to me. Like, you've gotta know you gotta keep that helmet.
He was
on.
off.
He was
the
off
field.
the field.
He was off
He
the
was
field.
off the field.
But he was in the end zone still.
No,
Like,
he was
out
off
of
the
the
field.
end zone.
He was out of the end zone.
By the
that was a
stands.
bad call.
Is
that
that
was
the
100%
rule?
a
You have to
bad
be
call.
in the field of play. It's the same
That
as
was
it being on the
100%
sideline.
a bad call.
You're off
I
the
don't know
field.
how that. Oh, okay. I thought you had to be on the sideline if you to take your helmet off. I didn't realize that.
You know who else took his helmet off? Terry McLaurin. Did you see a flag? He literally went all the way up to the middle of the field. He almost stepped on the logo.
That was at the end of the game, though, wasn't it?
They still had to play.
Erroneous.
That's what I'm saying.
That's a
It
wild
was a
game.
bad call.
Awesome. You just got mad at
It's a bad call.
Scary Terry. No Buckeye slander here.
I love Scary Terry. There's
He
never
didn't get mad at
slander.
him. He just pointed out that it was an example of a missed call by the officials.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, Charlie.
I got you.
He's always here for me.
Somebody make a pick in this fucking game.
Don't make me.
This is a gross one.
Over 42.5.
Ooh.
PJ slinging. I will say
He is
that.
slinging.
PJ is slinging.
That honestly.
Bengals need a bounce back game after getting embarrassed on national television.
I might ride the over with Charlie. I like that.
Come on over.
I'm going to.
You know what? Let's sweep the over, boys.
Look at that.
I don't like anything about this line. Let's sweep this.
All
fucking
I
game.
know is PJ is slinging it.
Our new Titans bet. We all bet the same thing. It
Yeah.
worked out good.
There we go. Let's put it in right now before it moves in anymore.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, 7.5 for the Bengals. It's a tale of two sides of the coin here, right? Because the Panthers have been covering and have actually been playing pretty well, and the Bengals have been faltering. This feels like a get right game for the Bengals, but I do not want 7.5 points. Minus 7.5 points taken away from the Bengals. I think they win this maybe by 4 or 5 points. It comes down to PJ Walker driving down at the end of the game, and maybe he throws an interception or misses a wide open guy or something like that. But I'm taking over 42.5. Over. Just like we're done talking about this game, it's over. Falcons plus 3.5 against the Chargers. Lots of home dogs this week. More and more home dogs. Total here right now is sitting at 49.5. The over is 4-1 in the Chargers' last 5 games. Charlie gets to go first.
I hate the Chargers. I'm not betting on them anymore. They're with the Raiders in my hellhole pit of death. Give me the Falcons plus 3, purely out of spite. They could get their pants blown in by the Chargers. I don't care. I will never pick the Chargers again as long as this season remains.
Amen. I'm taking the under here.
I love the under here.
Is this crazy? 49.5 seems like insanely high.
Granted, the Falcons have had their streaks of putting up pretty big points, and so of course so the Chargers. They might not have Keenan Allen this week, and they for sure are not having Mike Williams.
Yeah, like where are they? Find me 50 points in this game.
Yeah, there was the report today that Keenan Allen said his ankle or his hammy got worse during the bye, which I don't even know how that's possible.
Yeah, that Keenan Allen's one of those guys that I don't think he ever had Hall of Fame status, but he could have been like a perennial All-Pro if he could just stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
No doubt.
Last 1 o'clock game, Jags are plus 1.5 against the Raiders. The total here is 47.5. The Raiders were on a bit of a streak. 3-0 straight up and against the spread. The overs were 3-0 in those games. And then they hit the brick wall. That's the New Orleans Saints. Got goose-egged. Under-hit. It's a fucking nightmare. JB, make a pick.
This one's so gross. I don't want any part of this. Give me the Jags plus 1.5. It's really so gross. I have to go to the bathroom. Excuse me. I don't even want to look at this game anymore. Excuse me.
God, he's actually going.
I'm actually getting up.
He's leaving. Okay. Charlie.
Okay, so hand up. I didn't look at any of these games before I sat down at this table, and I just said that the Chargers and Raiders were in my hellhole of death, and I will never pick them again. But 1.5 for a team that's clearly so much better than the Jags. Like, so much better.
Are they, though? Because
On paper, yes.
On paper, yes, but they're supposed to be better than a lot of teams on paper, and they're at the bottom of their division. They're under 500.
I hate them.
And I think Carr is hurt. He's got a back.
Oh, speaking of which, he's my fantasy quarterback in 3 leagues.
Yeah.
He stinks.
He's a couple of mine.
I hate him, and I can't get anybody else. I have waiver claiming for Justin Fields. That's how bad my team's quarterback situation is.
Justin Fields is having the rushing upside is worth a waiver wire pick.
Yeah, I
sure.
guess. I wonder if I got him. I never even looked to see if I actually got him in from the waivers. But I suppose I will take the over.
The over.
Over 47.5.
Oof. You're really praying for a bounce back here, huh?
I think these two teams are going to be idiots. They can both put up points when they want to, and it's really not that many points.
Yeah, it's high-ish, but it's definitely not too high.
Yeah, 27-24.
I am going to take the Jags as well. I think that just based on the way they played last week, the Raiders, I think that Carr might be a little more hurt than he's letting on. They put Stidham in garbage time. I don't know. A back is not something that heals when you keep playing on it. Like, you've got to get it fixed, and if he's going to keep playing on it, I'm afraid he's going to get worse. We're running out of games. I almost L-worded this because we have L-worded the Raiders so many times. I kind of just want to Oppo L-word them to just get away from them.
You should, but one time I did that, it backfired, and the Broncos beat them.
Yeah,
so
let's not do that. Let's learn from our mistakes.
Yes.
JB's back, and he's going to tell us his favorite pick for the Cardinals being 2-point favorites at home against the Seahawks. The total here is 50.5. This game started at -1.5 for the Cardinals, and it's now up to -2. The total has lowered. It was like 51, I think, and it's now 50.5.
Now it's 49.
Now it's 49.
Seahawks, Cardinals, 49.5.
Keeps on dropping.
So there's only 2 games for the 4 o'clock slate?
There's
Red Zone's going to be tight for the 4 o'clock. It's just those 2 games. Just flipping. But
And one's a 4:06 and one's a 4:26. So
Yeah.
There's still a delay.
Yeah, they're still staggered.
interesting. I wonder how that's going to work out.
It's going to be boring.
I really want to love the Seahawks in this, but I can't love them. I like them. I'm taking them +2. I wish it was 3. I like the Seahawks, but I don't love them. But I like them. Enough to maybe day a little bit?
Yeah, you can do a little over-the-pants stuff, but you don't want to commit. What are you going to do?
Over the pants. I think I want the Cardinals.
Ooh.
Arizona Cardinals -2.
Care to say why?
I think they're better. I mean, I think... wait, never mind. Wait. I thought it was Cardinals +2 at home. It is -2.
It is -2.
That changes everything. I'll go over the pants with JB. Seattle.
Hell yeah.
Seattle's 4-1 against the spread in the last 5 games. I think that trend continues. I think the Cardinals are still just kind of reeling. They're not really doing well. The DeAndre Hopkins has helped out a little bit. The over is a little intriguing, but the Seahawks are ready to go, man. They are absolutely ready to go. So I'm going to take the Seahawks here.
When we were doing our top 5 teams, I was seriously considering the Seahawks. They had an actual case with everybody else I was considering.
I thought about it for 2 seconds and then realized there were just too many teams better than them to put in the top 5. So they were not in that conversation for long for me. The last 4 o'clock game, 1 of 2. The Bucks are 2.5-point favorites at home against the Rams. The total here is 42.5. The Rams have dominated the Buccaneers, especially when the Buccaneers are at home. The Rams are 5-0 against the spread and straight up on the road versus Tampa Bay. We all remember the playoff game that led them to the Super Bowl in Tampa. These are not the same teams. A lot of similar faces, but we are missing a lot of action and a lot of good football here. So, JB, what you got?
Why do you always have to give me the first one every time we have a crappy game?
I don't know if this is a crappy game.
It's a crappy game if we're talking about the spread.
Yeah, I mean, the 2.5 is kind of shitty. This is a get-right game. 1 of 2 ways this is a get-right game.
Like these teams are supposed to be so good, like right?
They're supposed to be, yeah.
But they stink. They stink. They stink. They stink. It's gross.
All right, I'll go first. I'll go first because I'm locking the Rams.
You're locking the Rams?
We have 2 games left, JB. I don't love either side of these other
I would have
games.
just stayed away from this game.
I'm locking the Rams. I think that. So we figured out what is the thing that the Rams lose to is a good defense. The Bucs do not have a good defense. We thought they did, but they don't. I'm taking the Rams. I'm taking a Cooper Kupp anytime touchdown, parlaying it with -2.5 or with +2.5, and we're going to walk out with plus money. I bought you time.
I'm going to pick the Rams +3 too, but
Well, it's +2.5.
I was +2.5. Well, it's +3
It's 3
on
now on
FanDuel.
FanDuel.
Is it 3?
It's 3 on FanDuel.
Excuse me while I go put that in right now.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the right bet to make. I just didn't expect you to have so much tenacity saying it.
We don't have any games left. I know what you're going to lock here coming up. Like it's very obvious what's left, and I wasn't going to fight you for it. So I took the scraps that were left on the table.
Could have went back.
No, I knew what I wanted. Are we sweeping?
Yes.
Ooh, baby.
No further questions?
No.
Sorry, I'm actually...
Rams good. Buccaneers bad.
Well-
Rams need good game.
Rams less
Buccaneers
bad.
don't have good game left in them. Team dead. Brady need retire now. Go save family.
Kiss son on mouth.
Gross.
And then wife in that order.
What the fuck did we just do? All right. So this is gonna be a short episode. We're at 30 minutes here. That's why we did the top 5. Gotta fill some airwaves here. It is now time for Sunday night fights.
All right. This is a little interesting one.
It is
Because it's a battle of an interstate battle.
Huh?
The quarterbacks are from the same state.
Oh.
Yeah.
In-
Not the teams.
Oh, okay. I was like, what?
Welcome to yet another edition of Sunday Night Fights. In the blue corner, standing 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighing in at 221 pounds, fighting out of Lubbock, Texas, by way of the University of Texas A&M, or Texas A&M University, whichever is the correct way to say it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Ryan Tannehill, a.k.a. Tana Thrill.
Ew, Tana Thrill, I don't like that.
I didn't pick it.
Yuck.
And in the red corner, standing 6 feet 2 inches tall, weighing in at 225 pounds, fighting out of neighboring Tyler, Texas, by way of Texas Tech University. Is that a rivalry? Not really.
I don't
They're just both
think
in
so.
Texas.
Yeah.
Different conferences. Yeah, they don't really play much. Mm-hmm. Patrick Mahomes, a.k.a. Baby Goat.
Bah.
Goat. Oh, goat.
Bah.
Tannehill, I bet, could fight.
He was a wide receiver.
He was a wide receiver in
People
college.
forget that.
Scrappy.
People forget that.
He is,
They may have called him that.
He was a wide receiver, so yeah, he was scrappy.
yeah, he had to fight.
Yeah, this is a weird one. I feel like Mahomes is just too good to actually fight anymore.
Tannehill's bigger.
He is bigger. I didn't think he'd be bigger. Yeah, I think I'm taking Tannehill here. I think he knows how to block. He knows how to make contact.
He's not overly old.
No, he's still spry. Okay, wait.
Still spry.
Are we taking this ankle injury that Tannehill has into consideration for this, or is this if they're in perfect health?
I'm going to go perfect health.
Okay, then
All
yes.
things considered. I think Tannehill might win.
I think Tannehill would win.
No chance Mahomes can fight. No way.
I see it 5 rounds by
Baseball
decision,
player's son.
probably.
Oh, he is a baseball guy. That means he's soft.
Oh, yeah.
-1.
Oh, -1. Damn.
So I might have to go Tannehill with that argument.
Unless Tannehill also played baseball.
Tannehill strikes me as a baseball guy.
He does seem like a baseball guy.
Did Tannehill play baseball? Can you believe JB was giving me shit about using the internet, trying to find these things on the fly?
Can't find him. He's like an old grandpa with his little cheaters on.
Oh.
It takes him forever.
Kid can't even freaking...
www.google.com.
He's still using Alta Vista. I forget what that's from. Yeah, this is by far they're gonna wax the floor with him. He was not a baseball player, according to my quick and spry Google search.
Good. So Tannehill wins.
Tannehill wins
The fight, not the football game.
Yes, the fight on Sunday night. Fights. He's definitely not gonna win this game. 12.5 points favorites at home. The Chiefs are against the Titans. 46.5 is the total. Tennessee's hot. HAWT 5-0 against the spread in their last 5 games. That means something, but doesn't mean enough, JB.
This one's tough for me.
Let's also remember here that sorry, not to cut you off, the Titans are second currently in the AFC standings.
If the season ended today, they'd be the 2 seed in the AFC, which is nuts.
People are asking, are they good?
No.
Derrick Henry's good.
Two different answers that say the same thing, I think.
Easy schedule.
It has been a pretty easy.
I put it in the group chat, I think.
You did. JB, what are your thinkings?
I think the smart bet is to do the under again.
Under.
Titans are going to have to rely on Derrick Henry to win this game, which means they're going to have to try to resist anything that the Chiefs can throw at them. They've played them tough before, so I think this is just my smart bet here. I just don't like the big spread like this, especially with a team who's second and number 2 in the entire AFC. But do I believe Chiefs can hang over 14 on them? Absolutely. So I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place on this one.
What say Charlie?
That's way too many points. But also, this line might be a little bit inflated because of how much they beat the shit out of San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe a little bit of recency bias, but I don't think Vegas is a victim of recency bias. The Chiefs have only won 2 games by more than 10 points this year, and it was week 1 and then last week.
Yeah.
Every other game's been pretty close, and the Titans aren't bums. They're not complete pushover bums. They're 5-2.
Yeah.
I hate this. I think I'm gonna take. I think I'm gonna bet the Titans plus 12.5. I don't love it, but it seems like the smart thing to do.
I'm riding with you. Plus 12.5 is a smart play. The Texans, we can't be saying the Texans. The Titans have covered the last 4 times that they have faced off against the Chiefs.
Interesting.
Now, granted, one was in 2021, one was in 2019, 2016, and then 2014, so we're going back a bit, but it still stands. The under, to make JB feel good, has hit in 3 out of those 4 games as well. Make you feel better?
A little bit.
Yeah, this game stinks.
You know what I'm going to do, honestly? One of my favorite bets to make is the win margin bets.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to bet Chiefs win margin 1-13, which is exactly the same thing as...
Basically the same thing.
It's just the Chiefs money line also with plus 12.5. Or also, it's...
No, it's weird. Yeah, it's
not
weird, quite money
but the
line.
odds are much better if you do it that way.
Yeah, it's probably plus... I bet it's probably plus 180. That would be my guess. I don't know if that's up yet. You can look though.
I'm doing a quick check, yeah. But I that's probably what I'm going to actually put physical dollars on. I like a win margin.
I do like win margins too. Win margins can be a little stressful. I like the ones when it's if you bet on the win margin of 14 plus when you think it's going to be a blowout. Because it's there's nothing worse than being they won by 14, so I lost. That feels dirty to me. But I don't know how much more time I can buy. Did you find it?
That's okay.
Okay. When you find it, we'll come back to it. Last game, JB still has his lockout on the table. I have a pretty good guess where he's going to throw it here.
Plus 160.
Plus 160. I said plus 180. We're close. That's good. That's definitely the bet. That's a play to make. Another home dog on Monday Night Football here. Saints are plus 2.5 against the Ravens. The total is 48.5. We have 2 different trends, 2 opposite trends clashing. The under is 4-1 in Baltimore's last 5 games, but the over is 4-1 in the Saints' last 5 games. 48.5 is a weird number. I don't know if anybody's going to touch that, but just something to think about in terms of statistics. JB, I've got you queued up whenever you're ready.
Hit it.
You better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
It's hard to say my Ravens because I'm a Steelers fan, but I bet the Ravens so much this year. It's ridiculous. But I'm locking the Ravens again. It was under 3. It was a team I think they are probably marginally better than. So that was an easy pick for me as a backup.
Yeah, Ravens are tough. I think that.
They're tough.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This game is tough, and it's tough to bet on or against or bet on a game that the Saints are involved in because we all felt pretty good about the Saints last week or about the Raiders last week, and then that happened, and it's just really hard to get
You guys
good
feel good
feel.
about the Raiders.
Well, you know what I mean. Nobody feels good about betting on or against the Saints, but I think I like the Ravens minus 2.5 here. I'm going to ride with that as well.
No doubter to me. It's a complete no doubter.
Yeah. It almost doesn't make sense, which is our fourth.
And they are at home, I guess, but
Yeah.
I don't care that much about it.
Couple good sweeps out here today, boys. Couple good sweeps. All right. So we have Ravens. Nobody's touching that total. I think that's a smart move.
Yeah, definitely.
All right.
I can see the over.
Could you?
I can see it.
You can see it?
I can see it.
I can't see it. My eyes are shut. All right. Usually our last segment of the night is going to be our second to last segment, but here it comes.
Parley, parsnip, par, sleep, par, partner. Parlay? That's the one. Parlay.
Mr. Joshy.
All right. This week on the Foreshore 4, originally known as the Fofa Show.
4!
We are starting with the lock. We are starting with the Ravens.
I thought
minus
you
2.5.
I thought you were going to say we're starting with the lock, which is the Vikings.
I almost did. I almost said it because I wanted it. I'm still picking the Vikings for my other game for the minus 3. I'm going with the Seahawks plus 2. Even though I didn't say I don't love it, I'm starting to love it a little bit more as we do this podcast, and mainly because we all swept it, so it makes me feel better. And I'm going to go with the under in the Chargers and... Crap, I already forget who the Chargers play.
Atlanta.
Falcons.
Thank you. Chargers and Falcons game.
Ravens minus 2.5. Vikings minus 3. Seahawks plus 2. Chargers, Falcons, under. We are sharing a couple picks here today, JB. Actually, we're sharing 3 picks.
Okay, I'm willing to change to... what was the other under I had? Packers Lions. I'm willing to change it to that. They're both 49.5.
Okay. I'll give you the pack.
Okay,
pack
that's
line
fine.
under.
Both of them I feel pretty solid about.
Okay. So now we're only matching twice.
Yeah, I didn't want to do 2 unders in my parlay.
It's hard not to. There's only like 7 games this week. It's hard. We're going to have matching when we're picking 4 games.
We don't need to have 3 of the same, especially when I feel as good as on the other one.
Yeah. I'm taking the under. Atlanta Chargers under 49.5. I'm taking what would have been probably an all-around lock if we all would have locked that game. Vikings minus 3. I'm taking Ravens minus 2.5. And I'm taking Bengals Panthers over 42.5.
Well, now we have 3 of the same legs. Brian.
Damn.
So you have the Bengals Panthers over.
Yep.
Okay.
And the Ravens and the Vikings and the Green Bay Packers.
I'm not changing because you are so hot on these fucking parlay legs. I say we keep them.
Okay, how about this? I'll take one out. Take the over out.
Okay, so what are your picks? Read them off again.
Green Bay plus minus 3.5.
Okay.
Minnesota minus 3.5. Baltimore minus 2.5. This was going to be called the North Remembers parlay. It's all the North.
All the North, you're right.
And in the fourth leg that I am generously, for the sake of the listeners, audibling on the fly, Patriots minus 5.5.
Ooh.
Still in the North technically, but geographically.
Yeah, not in the division, but
In Gillette, that's the North.
yes, mathematically in the North. Okay, so that is Green Bay minus 3.5, Minnesota minus 3.5, Baltimore minus 2.5, Patriots minus 5.5.
I'm glad I absolutely hammered the hell out of the Vikings.
Yeah, before I moved.
Minus 3.
I agree.
We're all on the Vikings.
All right, our last segment, last quick piece here. A little bit of debate. Our top 5 teams in the NFL. As it stands today, because apparently this needed clarification, who are your top 5 teams in the NFL right now? If the season ended today and you said top 5 teams make the playoffs. The world has ended. We can't finish the season. The top 5 teams make the playoffs. Who are they? JB.
Are we going, everybody go 5, or are we doing each of our lists individually?
Ooh, good question.
Ooh, that's a great question.
We should go 5s all around, then 4s, then 3s, then 2s.
I'm okay with this.
Okay, let's do that.
All right, so my first team, my number 5 team is the Miami Dolphins.
Wow.
I had 6 teams up for this one. I was like, I'm pretty sure there are 4 good teams in the NFL, and then there were 6 people I came up with who are the tier below that. So, but I think adding Bradley Chubb is going to help. Right now, their secondary hasn't been playing great, but I think they have a history of playing really well. So I think adding Bradley Chubb will get a little bit of pressure off them. I think it will help the whole defense together. And they have the 2 most explosive wide receivers in the entire NFL. I mean, shit. We're halfway through. They already are past 1,500 yards collectively. It's ridiculous.
Jalen Waddle's on pace for like 1,600. He's set to break Calvin Johnson's record, I think, of like the 1,900
Is he
yards
really?
right now.
Tyreek, not
No,
you said
I think it's Waddle.
No, it's Tyreek.
Oh, Tyreek.
Tyreek almost has 1,000 yards right now.
That's crazy. Yeah, that's nuts. What is who's your 5? I feel like you're going to have a spicy top 5 here. So is it the Chiefs at 5?
Absolutely not. My number 5 team in the NFL, as it currently stands, based on the stipulations that were laid out.
I didn't think they were that stipulating, but okay.
There's a lot of stipulations here. I didn't know if the trades we could count in the trades that just happened.
Of course, the trades.
But then that also impacts the teams that lost people,
Does.
which also impacts the rest
trades
of looking at the remaining schedules of each team. So I was doing a lot of like that meme with Charlie
futuristic.
Day,
With the numbers
board.
going.
But I simpled it down. I boiled out all the water, so it's just the concentrate. Number 5 team in the league, Minnesota Vikings.
Ooh,
It's a good one.
I love Minnesota. They are underrated, I think. People fluff them off because, like, oh, Kirk Cousins is their quarterback. They're just whatever. Crazy offense. Mm-hmm. They can burn you with Justin Jefferson, Thielen, and now T.J. Hawkinson. Nasty. Mm-hmm. They have a crazy run game.
Yep.
Their defense is playing pretty good. Zadarius Smith is, like, balling.
Yes, he is.
Balling. I love the Vikings. I think they got so much better with Hawkinson because now you have to keep the middle of the field covered, which leaves Jefferson up over the top. That's going to be huge for them.
I have the Vikings at 5 as well. I actually wanted to put them at 4. They're 6-1. It's kind of hard to think that we put the 4 other teams in front of a 6-1 team, but the Vikings do be Vikinging sometimes.
They do.
Whereas like they're struggling, they let something flop, like they let teams come back. They're still holding on to wins, which is something different. Usually they would let these leads up and then not get them back or not fully hold them. But there's still a little bit of that Viking smell on them. That stank. That's just like, I don't know if you can actually win a really tough game. Also, primetime, every real game, every important game is primetime, and Kirk Cousins is going to just shit in his hand. And I don't know if I can trust him like when a legit game matters. I don't know what his playoff record is, but I can't imagine it's very good. So I have them at 5. I wanted to put them at 4, but I'm putting them at 5.
The stink is not as far for me. I have them at 4.
Yeah. Okay, so then let's talk. So then this is good. So you have them at 4. Why do you have them above the Dolphins? Because
I think
they're 6-1?
A couple of things. One, I think on a 1v1 matchup, I think the Vikings would probably have an advantage.
Ooh, really?
I believe so. I think the Vikings are one of the more well-rounded teams in the entire NFL. No, they don't have studs besides Justin Jefferson, but everybody on that team is playing their position, doing well. They're just a very, very, very good team. Where I know there is the chance the Dolphins will just sputter out randomly.
That's true.
Granted, when they did that, they didn't have Tua.
And they didn't have Mike McDaniels. Is really where I was going to go there.
Fair. So, but right now, I think the Vikings are a little bit of a better team than the Dolphins right now.
So I have the Dolphins at 4, and it was tough because the Vikings are 6-1, right? So you would think they should at least be in the top 4. The reason why, for me, the big reason is that the Dolphins are 4-2. Or 5-2. Sorry, 5-2. Numbers are hard. They've only lost 2 games. The 2 games that they've lost, their quarterback's brain was a slushy. So when in games that Tua has played from start to finish, they are undefeated. They have not lost a game that he has started and finished. That means to me that says when they're healthy, and they're healthy right now, so as it stands today, I think they are a better team than the Vikings. I think right now if they played the Vikings and the Dolphins played, they would be 2.5 point favorites.
Neutral site. I cannot get on board with the Dolphins. I think they are probably 8th best team in the league. If I had to rank top 10, they're probably 7 or 8. They lose games that they shouldn't. I mean, you can blame Tua all you want, but I don't think Tua is the guy that makes that offense run. I think you could plug in anybody as a quarterback, and they would probably be fine.
We kind of talked about this in the other podcast. Basically, if you swap Mac Jones and Tua, both teams would be the exact same.
Right. So I don't think it's a good excuse. Like, oh, well, Tua was injured, but I mean, come on, like Teddy Bridgewater is.
Well, wait, you just said that you could plug and play there, but they lost those 2 games that Tua didn't play.
Right. So, but I'm saying that's not the reason. Like, that's not.
I think that's certainly part of it.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, is that the whole reason? It's not like you're going from Tom Brady to, I don't know, a random scrub. It's like you're going from I love talking in Madden points because that's how my stupid brain works. Tua, to me, is like maybe an 81 in Madden. If you had him, I don't know what he is in the real game, but in my brain, he's like an 81, a fine quarterback. Fine. You're happy with him. Teddy Bridgewater is probably like a 77. Like, how much are we falling here? And then Skylar Thompson is probably like a 60-something.
Yeah,
so
okay, that's fair.
61.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's fair. But Tua doesn't make that offense. The offense makes Tua. So I don't think that they're.
It's fair.
Yeah, I don't think you're giving Tua enough credit. I think you're right to an extent, but it still showed that I think that was more of a causation and not a correlation.
Well, how about this? With Tua, that was supposedly healthy, only beat the Steelers by 6, scored 0 second-half points, and were stymied by the defense that didn't have T.J. Watt and a couple secondary pieces.
Also, the same offense led by Tua that beat the Bills, which is arguably the best team in the league.
It goes back to my point about the Bills. They can't finish games.
Okay, but still probably a top 1 or 2 team in the league. Still good. Also, lost to the Jets 40-17 without Tua. The Jets, who were, I guess we're now saying they're kind of good, but still didn't beat them.
I don't like the Jets. I don't like the Dolphins. I think they're frauds.
Also, I forgot that the Vikings and Dolphins have played already, and that was without Tua. And the Dolphins lost 24-16. That was the week before the Steelers game.
Point stands. The 4th best team in the NFL is the Philadelphia Eagles.
What?
The Eagles?
What? I knew you were. This is why.
Get out of here,
for
dude.
Some spicy.
What?
I thought we had this conversation weeks ago where I had to lay out why I thought the Eagles were good. I thought I sold you on it, and apparently not.
The 4th best team in the league is not good?
No, I am. So you don't have the Dolphins on this list?
No,
I have no idea. If the Steelers on the list, you're not invited back to the podcast.
I can assure you, I don't have the Steelers written down right now. Although they're number 1 in my heart, not on my paper. No, the Eagles. Hear me out, okay? Before you jump on my back, even more than you already just did.
I think
hear me out.
So.
I'm shocked here.
The 3 teams I have above the Eagles, I have above the Eagles for a reason. Their record may not say it. But the 3 teams above the Eagles have been there before. They have a solid core that has been there before. They have a cohesive group. I trust them in the long run to be better football teams than the Eagles. May I remind you of a team last year that was 7-0, 8-0, that everyone was S-ing their D?
The Dolphins.
No,
it wasn't the Dolphins.
Arizona Cardinals.
Oh yeah, the Cardinals.
Who had a athletic run-around quarterback that everyone was in love with. Their defense was playing really, really well. They were like shitting on teams. And then I don't think they made the playoffs.
They did make the playoffs.
Did they?
They lost in the first round.
They got bounced.
Doesn't either way. That I'm getting like flashbacks of that. So for now, today, they're the 4th best team in the NFL. I think they're scary good. Like scary good. But I'm afraid that they're like burning too bright. The flame is burning too bright. I don't want to give them a top 3 spot just yet.
Wow. Okay.
That's not an intellectual argument?
It is.
You're comparing them to the Cardinals, which I just think, as the team is built, okay, you can make the correlation that we have 2 athletic running quarterbacks, but those offenses run totally different.
I agree. You're right.
And I think that the way that Jalen Hurts is playing and the way that offense is built around Hurts prevents him from making those backbreaking mistakes that Kyler made last year and is still making this year, by the way.
I agree. I'm not comparing them necessarily like the quarterbacks, but the situation is the same.
Okay.
So who is 3 for you? I have to know.
I was going to say, we have to lead you off.
Did we finish off all? Oh, yeah, you guys have the 4.
Yeah, I had Dolphins at 4. He had Vikings at 4. You had the Eagles at 4.
Okay, the third best team in the NFL is San Francisco 49ers.
I thought you were saying the Titans. I was going to cry.
No. San Francisco 49ers have arguably the best roster on paper in the NFL. Like, they have ballers at every position group.
But they're all hurt.
But listen, you said as it stands today.
Yeah,
you told me not to take into account the future when they're going to get hurt.
No, but they're hurt now. They're hurt today.
They are not as hurt today as they were before. Who's hurt today?
I don't even know anymore because I've lost count.
They're getting very healthy. They're getting very, very, very healthy.
Oh, boy.
Adding McCaffrey, they are going to be a force to be reckoned with if they're healthy. But taking a snapshot of today's team as it stands today, they're healthy and they are very, very, very good at football.
I'm very quickly Googling 49ers injury report.
Go ahead.
Really, it's just Debo and a cornerback right now.
Is it?
To my knowledge.
Arik Armstead is on the report.
All right, that's fair.
Did not practice all week. Is this for this week? Oh, sorry, this is week 3. Why did you
He's
default to
back
week
for sure.
3?
Armstead's back.
Is this week 8 now, right? Week 8?
No, this is going to be 9, right?
No,
this is week 9.
This is coming into week 8. Arik Armstead is still, he's out this week. Yes, it is. We're at the halfway point, right?
Yeah, we're at the halfway point.
Yeah, tomorrow is going to kick off week 8.
9.
Week 9.
What the fuck is happening? Where's my life right now?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
6, 7, 8 M's in my
week
bank
9.
account.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
I hate
in my
it.
bank
Ninth
account.
game of the year.
No, and of course they're not sharing the injury report for. Oh, that's
The Steelers are 2-6, and they're on the bye week, which means it's week 9. Yinzer math.
they're on a they're on a bye this week too, which is why there's no injury report. But last week, Arik Armstead did not play. Dre Greenlaw, who's a good linebacker, didn't play. Juwan Jennings played, I think, but he's on the report. Debo didn't play. Kyle Juszczyk didn't play. Trent Williams.
Oh, they didn't play. They must have played a really horrible game and lost.
If you were to put them at 5, I would have been total. I would not be fighting you at all on this. But I think that is insane to put a 4.
I will back Charlie a little bit on this. Whenever I was making this list, I was thinking how would these teams do against whatever other team? The 49ers are the only team in these 10 teams that I thought of that would compete with every single next person. You could think of bad matchups between the Giants and the Eagles or say the Cowboys to the Vikings. I think the Niners could compete with basically any of these top teams. All the way up to 1.
And that's why I wouldn't have freaked out if you put them at 5. But to put them at 3, they have 4 losses, and you put them ahead of the 7-0.
They've been hurt. God. They are the top 3 best teams in the NFL. They've been there. They have a core. They've been to the game. They've been in these dog fights. They're good.
And probably have the worst quarterback of these top 5 teams.
Not gonna quote my pal Uncle Colin Coward. But
God,
these are not
fucking Colin
standings. These are rankings. This isn't the
fair.
standings. The Titans are 5-2. They beat the little kids of the poor every week. Their schedule's a cupcake schedule.
true.
They're not on this list.
You're right.
Standings, not rankings, not standings.
JB, bring us back to earth. Who is your number 3 ranked team in the NFL?
My number 3 team is the Chiefs.
Mine too. Damn it. I think it's really hard. Let's talk about this together. It's really hard to put them above the Eagles right now. I think the Eagles are just unbelievable. I don't think they can be stopped at this. They will lose a game, maybe 2, but they
I don't know, that schedule's cake.
It is cake, and they keep talk about adding firepower. They got Robert Quinn. They just keep on getting better. Knock on wood, they've had no major injuries that have impacted their game. But I think the Chiefs belong here at 3. They're obviously still very good. I think they're a half a step worse than they were last year because obviously you don't have Tyreek, but they've done a pretty good job of managing that and getting around that, bringing in Juju. Now they have Kadarius Toney, MVS. So they're still a top 3 team in my mind. They could very well make the Super Bowl. They could very well beat the Bills. Chiefs are 3 for me. I meant that to be more of a conversation, but
Chiefs are good. What do you like? They're just not undefeated, and the Bills already have a win over them, so they have to be 3.
And I think that's a big part of my because I almost put them above, and I looked and you go they lost to the Colts. It's it was one game, it was a bad game.
That was still a weird game,
but they lost to the fucking Colts, who are not a good football team. So that enough to me is the Eagles have not lost that game yet. And maybe they will have one of those games because, like you said, the schedule's cake, right? So maybe they trip up and do lose one of those, but maybe they don't. Maybe they don't. Give me your 2, Charlie.
My number 2 team in the NFL, Buffalo Bills. They're so good. They look very, very good. Probably the best. They probably have looked the best of any team. Maybe. They might have the best resume. If this was college football terms, they might have the best resume going into middle of the season. Mm-hmm. But again, their inability to finish games scares me. They let teams hang around too long. They don't utilize a running game to their advantage. That is the only reason why they're not number 1.
I don't disagree with anything that you said. I think the one thing that I will say is that although they didn't really finish the game against the Packers, they still won by 10 points. They still won very confidently.
Let's say they didn't cover the spread.
Okay, but
they don't win games like they should.
Half a point. That's Vegas.
It's a game of inches.
You could have got it at 10, and they would have pushed.
Game of inches.
Which means Vegas is perfect. JB, who is your 2?
Mine's the Eagles. Literally, they would be number 1 if I didn't have the thing in the back of my head that they've played a cupcake schedule all year. If it wasn't for that and just thought process, they'd be 1.
Yeah, I agree. The Eagles are my 2 as well. I think that just what you said. There's a cupcake schedule. What happens when they actually play tough teams again? They're also still very young. The Bills have now made the playoffs a couple times. They've made deep runs. The Eagles got bounced by the Patriots in the wild card last year. So do they maybe need another year to really get their feet wet and really be a good team? Maybe. I don't know. But I still think they're a really, really good team. It's hard to put an undefeated team second, especially a team that's played like they have and dominated like they have. But I think for me, the Bills are the number 1 team. That offense is just unstoppable. That defense, I think the defense is really what's different for me between the Chiefs and the Bills. Is that the defense for the Bills, I think, is when healthy, tops in the league, and you have a top defense with the best offense in the NFL. That's why the Bills are number 1 for me. Tell me why the Chiefs are 1.
I think the Chiefs are the most. They have the most experience, obviously, with the Super Bowl ring in the last 2 years, and getting to another one. They have the best core. I think they have the best coach in the NFL right now, which I think matters a lot.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think that we're talking about one Patrick Mahomes super uncharacteristic 20-second left in the game interception in the red zone away from a whole different conversation about the Colts or about the Chiefs and the Bills. They're right there. And how many times?
But they lost.
If you run that game 10 times, that same exact scenario 10 times, Mahomes throws a touchdown 8 out of 10 times.
Probably 9. I would even
probably
say 9.
not.
It's probably 9.
Oh, 9. Yeah,
9
exactly.
times. Yeah.
So was it a mistake? Yes. Is it a loss? Yes. Can't take it away. But if we're looking on the whole for the season, for the team, I like the Chiefs' ability to win close games. Like we said before, Josh Allen and the team is not good at putting teams away, and they're letting them come back, and that's the only thing keeping them from being number 1. The Chiefs, I trust to win games and put teams away. That's why Chiefs are number 1. Pedigree matters.
Pedigree does matter. You're right. Do you have anything to add on the Bills, since I know the Bills are your number 1 as well?
Yeah, I mean, they're just the best team that looks on paper. Whether injuries play a part of that going forward, whether their history of not doing very well in the playoffs have moving forward. Right now, what I know is that is the best offense paired with one of the best defenses in the league. And for that reason, they are the number 1 team, and they have the win over the other contender right now. Mm-hmm. And Eagles are the Eagles with a cupcake schedule and fresh in everybody's mind. So Bills have been good for years. This is just now almost like, for my Dragon Ball Z fans, Frieza Final Form Bills looking right now. So
I have no idea what that means, but I'm...
God bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think the clear and obvious that we can all agree on is that there are 3 legitimate contenders in the NFL right now, right?
4. I'll put the Vikings there.
See, I wouldn't put them there yet. I think for sure 3, and then I would probably put the Dolphins ahead of the Vikings. But you think there's 4? Do you think
I struggled with the Vikings at 5. I was gonna put the boys.
Them boys.
Boys were considered.
The boys were, I think, were my 6 if I had to go top
What
6.
about you, Brian? If you had a 6, I already said mine would have been the 49ers if I was 6.
It would have. It's close between the Niners and the Ravens. I think it would have to default to the Niners because you did make a good argument that they are probably on paper one of the best rosters and that they're getting healthy and coming around at the right time. So yeah, I'd probably go Niners for my honorable mention. But I think so. You think it's a little more wide open then? You think that any 5 of these teams could win a Super Bowl?
I think it's interesting that at least in my top 5, 3 are NFC teams and only 2 are AFC.
Yeah.
If the AFC is so top heavy and the NFC is more balanced, that to me that is parity in itself. Like having so many NFC teams in the mix. Like we could have had the Cowboys. We could have had. I mean, that's pretty much the only NFC teams that probably are in the mix right now.
Yeah,
Giants.
The Giants are going to make it, but yeah, they're not really contenders.
But they're so. I'm worried they're just like kind of like flash in the pan. I don't know if they have similar to like the Eagles. Like they have such a really hot, super good season.
Yeah,
but they haven't been there. They haven't been to these games. They're super young.
Eagles were there last year.
Tons of talent. I mean, yeah, but they got shit pumped in the first round.
They
of the playoffs.
got there.
What about the Seahawks?
Here's your trophy for getting to the first round of the playoffs and losing to Tom Brady.
It's all about the steps you take.
Well, we're talking about this year.
Every step.
So if that's their step for this year, that's great. But we're talking about the top 5 teams to win a Super Bowl, not to get to the first round of playoffs and lose.
But I don't think the Eagles are going to go to the first. The Eagles might have the first.
I was going to say they may not play in the first round. What about the Seahawks in the NFC?
I consider the Seahawks.
I think they'll make it. I don't think they're a real Super Bowl contender. I think that they're a team playing ahead of their skis that are playing above their talent level that will probably sneak into a wild card and probably will be that first round loss.
Are the Rams
Dead.
Yeah.
Are they completely dead?
If the Seahawks played the Rams right now, and eventually that will happen, I would take the Seahawks without a doubt.
I think that I don't know if they're dead to the point of they don't make the playoffs because the NFC, like we said, is kind of funky.
Yeah.
So there are 7 teams that make it in. So you have your 4 division winners, and then Cowboys, Giants, Seahawks. Actually, wait. Oh, I forgot my thumb. So you're getting close, but I think they can still make the playoffs. But I think that they will. No chance.
I don't like them to win any playoff games, but could they sneak in?
They could probably sneak in.
Did you see? I saw a report today from I think it was Albert Breer that McVay is tied to the core of the Rams team, and that being Stafford, Aaron Donald, Ramsey,
Cup,
and Cooper Kupp. And once they're gone, he's going to just retire.
I
believe that.
He's like 45.
I talked to Harper about that today, actually, our resident Rams expert. And
he is a resident Rams.
Yeah, and he brought that up to me as well. And you got to remember, he almost retired this year. He almost went to football. He almost went to TV.
Wanted to do the I retired on top move.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think this is a guy that's totally in love with coaching. I think he loves football.
Ruined the whole draft process for that team. I don't think he wants to go into that draft process.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to rebuild. I think that's maybe he doesn't think he's good at rebuilding. Maybe he just wants to win his rings and get out of there.
I saw a tweet like in the replies to that article about Albert Breer or whatever. Like some guys just aren't wired to want to be like Belichick. Like I don't want 10 rings. Like I want to win one. I want to have that experience, and then I want to get out and enjoy that. He'll still be like an all-time Rams legend for getting to the Super Bowl. So, what else? What else are you trying to accomplish? Like, if you're not going to be a career coach,
Basically, right now he's in the phase of like, what if I can do it again? Like, what if I could just get it one more time?
Some people want to climb the mountain once. Other people just want to keep doing it over and over again.
Right.
And I think that. And let's be real, the money that you can make in TV is unbelievable.
As a handsome guy like that?
Oh my God!
I mean,
the stations will be throwing money at McVay, throwing it.
You think Tony Romo got the bag? He's gonna make Tony Romo look like chump change.
Oh, speaking of getting a bag to be a TV guy, again, my old buddy Colin had a good point. You know who'd be a great college football analyst? NFL quarterback currently that stinks. No one wants him, but would be a killer college football analyst.
Kaepernick?
Baker.
Oh, Baker.
Baker would be awesome on TV.
Yeah, I think I could see that.
Yeah, he's got that spicy personality.
Yeah, and he's
talked in front of a microphone for a long time.
One of the best, like in recent memory, one of the best college football players, like in recent memory.
Heisman winner, yeah.
That would kind of help his legacy too, probably. Like, yeah, he fizzled out in the pros, whatever. But
Kind of like what
Basically,
RG3 did.
Sanchez.
oh, he's so annoying though. I don't like him at all.
Yeah,
Who?
but
RG3.
RG3.
I kind of like RG3.
I don't hate RG3. Like, he raced a bird. I thought that was kind of stupid. Like,
Yeah, that was weird.
I like that he has takes. Like, I don't necessarily like his takes, but I like that he is not just a talking head. Like, 'cause it's kind of like the same thing as like Orlovsky, right? Like, what does Orlovsky bring to the table other than like being a little kind of hot?
Oh, he's a
takey?
nerd.
Like, yeah. So like, I like that you.
But
I
I like
like that you're not
Orlovsky.
just like blending in with the rest of the crowd. But yeah, some of his takes are a little off the wall for me.
Yeah.
But all right, that's week 9. I thought it was week 8, but it's week 9. You know what it is that when we do Jet Set, our Dynasty Football podcast, our fantasy football podcast, I do a week 8 recap, and that's what I title the thing as because we're talking about the week that was.
Oh.
And so my brain says it's still week 8, but it's
Yeah.
actually week 9.
Excuses.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter at JetBetsGamble. Get on there before Elon Musk starts charging you for subscriptions. I will be buying us a blue check mark for $20 a month. Thanks for asking.
I thought it was 8.
I don't know.
I heard it's $8
I heard it
a
was
month.
all of a joke, anyways. But yeah, follow us on Twitter. Oh, be sure to check out Pickett. We didn't mention Pickett today.
I was just going to remind you. I was thinking of a funny segue to it.
Oh well,
You got it.
I saved you.
Good host.
Yeah, check out Pickett. We were literally looking at Pickett. I look at Pickett every day, basically. The second JB said, "Hey, the Vikings are -3." I wanted to make sure that I got the -3 in the right app, and I went on FanDuel, had it. It tells you every sports book that's legal what the spreads are, so you can find the best bets, the best spreads. You can track your money. It's perfect. It's a great app. Use promo code JETBETS when you sign up. You get free money. They actually Venmo too. There's no site credit. You get cold hard cash, digital cash, so it's not that cold. And yeah, it's great. Thanks to Pickett, they rock. And they keep updating. I don't know if you guys they've really been updating things. They're introducing like prop lines, finding the best odds for like anytime touchdown scores and the best lines for like receiving totals and stuff like that.
I like the calendar feature.
The calendar feature is great.
Calendar is nice.
Yeah.
I like to see all my good days and my bad days. It tells you right away.
It
green
does,
or
yeah.
red.
Green or red. Very, very easy.
Yeah.
And then I like to see exactly how I'm doing in college football compared to the NFL. So, yeah, shout out Pickett, Pikkit. Check them out. They're great. Use promo code JETBETS. We'll be back next week. Let's go win some fucking money.